I have had my 40th birthday whilst being here in England, and it was an unusual birthday, to be perfectly honest, for no reason other than my own created reason, I suppose, self-inflicted reason. The day was pretty much a normal day, sort of normal-ish, I suppose. I didn't really have too many things planned, or anything at all planned for my birthday, but we did go out for breakfast in the morning. Me, my wife, my daughter, and my parents. And then later on, my parents were going to, it's like a big park, but more like a very, like not a park with like swings and slides, although there were swings and slides at some part of this park. It's like a huge, like nature place, very natural looking park, I suppose. And one of the activities you could do there is you could use these like off-road Segway, those like two-wheeled vehicles with a stick that you hold on to. You could have this experience of driving those off-road all over the sort of like bumpy paths. And my parents had been given this gift. I can't remember by whom. It might have actually been like one of my sister's ideas, and I put money to it. But I think they were given this a while ago, so I seem to have forgotten where it came from. Gifted this experience, that is. And for my birthday, one of my sisters had decided to give me the same thing. Only, for some reason, I was in an unusual mood on my birthday and decided that I wouldn't be doing this at all. So we managed to get a refund for this. I think part of the reason was, I don't know, I just felt like it would have been nice to have been asked, do you want to do this? Because I was worried about how expensive it might have been for a start, although I later found out it wasn't actually that much money anyway. And then another thing I was a bit unhappy about at the time was that my wife wouldn't be able to join me. She hadn't been booked into this event. So I just felt like she would just be standing there on her own, or with the rest of my family, I suppose. But, feeling a bit left out. So it just didn't feel like, I don't know. It didn't feel like a good thing to do. Having said that, looking back, I probably just should have done it. And yeah, but it was like a weird feeling. A very weird feeling, an unusual feeling on my birthday. And I didn't think it would be. I got to my 30th birthday, and that was pretty normal, like any other birthday. But you do think on these big sort of like birthdays that end with 0, you do, well, maybe not everyone does. I do reflect on the last 10 years, I suppose. Like what's happened, what did I want to happen, what would I like to happen next? It's sort of like New Year's, like a New Year's Day or something. You're making New Year's resolutions, but instead of for the last year, it's for like 10 years prior to that, 10 years past. And on my birthday, if I'm perfectly honest with you, and I feel a bit silly saying this, but I wasn't in the best of moods, and it wasn't to do with getting older. That's fine, I've accepted that. We all get older, and I've, to the best of my knowledge, still got my health. So, lots of things, I've got an awful lot of things to be thankful for. But there was just something about it, whatever it was, that I was just unhappy about. And it put me in a bit of a mood on that day. And I'm struggling still to put my finger on what it was exactly, to be able to define exactly what it was. But I do remember feeling unhappy with my lot in life. And what does that mean, your lot in life? Feeling unhappy with my situation in life, what I've been given. But looking back at that, I just think, what on earth was that about? Why? Because I have like I said, I have so many things to be grateful for, and many more things to look forward to. but yet something didn't feel quite right. And I think it might be down to like a feeling of being unsettled. And I suppose that does exist. Like, I'm in England at the moment, but I'll be returning back to Japan. So you have to sort of leave the your birth country behind, leave your family and your friends behind. And I don't know what country we're going to be living in the future. It'd be nice to live in England at some point. England seems to be very, very expensive to live in now, so I'm not sure it's going to be realistic. Things have changed related to like requirements for being able to bring my family to England. They seem to be getting harder each time I take a look at like what's changed. So I don't know. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's that unease. Not being able to fully settle down, feeling a bit frustrated because of that. And then you've got my job, which has not been especially easy lately. I suppose I'm not getting a lot of like satisfaction from my job. I'm doing the work, but don't necessarily feel it being appreciated. So there must be that as well. And I have noticed that my mood whilst I've been in England has been not my usual mood at all. If I'm perfectly honest, it's been a bit more. It's been more moaning than it usually has been. I have been known to moan quite a bit at sometimes, but I've noticed it myself. I've been thinking, I'm moaning a lot whilst being over here, aren't I? And I think it's all connected. I just think it came to sort of like a point, like a peak upon my birthday when I just stopped what I was doing and just gave some focus, I suppose, to my own life, the direction of my own life. So maybe it's a message. Maybe it's I don't know, like a message that things aren't quite right, and I should spend some more time thinking about them, figuring out what it might be, how to resolve it, what the cause might be, maybe that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it does feel sort of quite silly, really. I was really looking forward to this birthday. I mean, it's the birthdays that end in zeros, I do consider to be like more of a big event than any other usual sort of birthdays. And I was very much looking forward to it. And it was nice that I was going to be able to spend it in England because, it's a rare thing to be able to spend a birthday in England these days. So perhaps there was some of that as well. Like, I don't know, maybe I was expecting more. Maybe I wanted more. Wanted to do something more on my birthday, perhaps. I don't know. Just really confusing load of different feelings mixed up that I don't necessarily understand properly yet. Aren't we humans incredibly complex animals? Sometimes we can't understand each other. Sometimes we can't even understand ourselves. But anyway, it wasn't a terrible day. I suppose the thing I disliked the most about the day was actually my own behaviour on the day, not the actual day itself. I mean, I don't want to make it sound too bad. It's not like I was horrible to anyone or anything like that. It's more of like an internal feeling, and more like I wasn't as happy as I normally would have been, or anything like that. And I'm sure people picked up on that. But like I say, I've sort of been acting that way a lot recently, I've noticed. So I don't think anyone was thought there's something gone wrong on this particular day or anything like that. And I do wonder how much of it is work related, because work can have such a huge effect on your life. I remember my father being like this quite a bit. So he had a very hard job, and he put an awful lot of effort into it. And he didn't necessarily see any of that effort repaid with any appreciation or thanks or anything like that. And you would always notice when we were on holiday, or when he was on holiday versus when he was at work, the change in his mood. Not that I would say he was horrible when he was at work, just like he was just a much brighter, much happier person when he was on holiday. It was like it was a really big uplift to his personality, and it was nice seeing this. I guess like the natural state of my father when he wasn't working, and I don't want that to happen to me. So like I say, maybe it's a warning message, maybe it's an opportunity to look at things and try and figure out what's going on here. Because like I said, I obviously recognize I have an awful lot to be thankful for, and no real reasons, no serious reasons at all to be unhappy. So yes, I suppose I have a bit of work to do. Anyway, that is a very unusual birthday story to be sharing with you, but quite open, quite honest, quite human, I suppose. So I hope you've managed to enjoy it all the same. And until next time, bye-bye.